Hello, everybody, and welcome to Angels News. Today is Tuesday, August 17, and we are here every Tuesday for the Angels News. So I'm really glad to be here. I must say that today it's kind of difficult for me to be here, but I know how important it is for us to talk and discuss about all the important things that we are going through and this place that we are in now and all the things that we are experiencing are really things that we need to process. And I know that that process is so important. So I feel obligated to be here with you every Tuesday. So saying that, I see that you're now starting to join me, so you can say hi and send some hearts, so I will know that you hear me and see me and that everything is working properly. And here I see you sending your heart, sending hearts, so thank you. And we can start then. So I must say, first of all, like I said, this week is a bit challenging for me. Hello, Selena. And I know that it's not just challenging for me, and that is why I feel obligated to be here. And I know that on Sunday, if you have seen the weekly message, so you see, always see you joining me. Thank you so much for being here. I must say, really, because it is difficult for me today. I will tell you in a few seconds why. So on Sunday, they gave us the weekly message, came from Rachel, and she said, you need to look at a situation from both sides. You need to understand that sometimes you feel that it's difficult, but there is also something there that actually you can learn from. And she gave us a really simple example. She actually gave us two examples that we can really relate to. One of them is when we have boundaries, when we have limitations. Some people might see that boundaries are limiting them and that they are actually not letting them explore, not letting them feel that they can develop. They feel that the boundaries are limiting them. Other people can say that boundaries are actually give them safety. And if you have boundaries, like you say for a kid, for instance, if you don't give a kid any boundaries, they feel insecure. And if you give them boundaries, they know they can learn things and they are safe and someone is watching over them, and they can actually develop better in those boundaries. And when they grow up, we expand those boundaries, and then it comes to a point that they put the boundaries for themselves. So she gave us this example, and she also gave us another example of freedom, that some people feel that freedom is something good, and when they are free, for instance, here in Israel, we are doing the army right after school, after going to high school. And when people are finishing the army, some of them feel that all the options are open for them, that the world is so wide and they really want to explore things. But other people feel that the world is so wide and they have so many options that they get confused, and they feel, instead of feeling freedom and open, and they can feel that they have a lot of option to explore, they actually feel that they need to hold on to something because they're too afraid from what is out there and they don't know how to choose. So these two examples are really good examples for what we are experiencing now, because I don't know how it is where you live, but here in Israel, we are talking about maybe a lockdown in September when the new year starts, and we need to go back to school. So they're talking about maybe there will be a lockdown. The skies are closing now. We can't fly from Israel because Israel is red. And it's starting to feel again like people are putting boundaries for us and how limiting it is. And also we feel that they're taking our freedom again. There is lockdown again. So we're starting to feel that, and we need to find a way to look at that situation in a different kind of way. Because what she said on the message on Sunday, she said, every situation have both ways you can look at. You need to choose which way to look. And when she told us that, I didn't really realize what I'm going to experience personally, and I'll tell you now. I actually had a vacation for tomorrow. I was going to go with my family. The plan was that we will go with the family to a holiday in Eilat, to a hotel in Eilat, and we actually booked that, I think, in maybe September or October. So it's almost a year from now that we booked that holiday for that we were supposed to go tomorrow. And this morning I got a message that both my kids are positive for COVID-19, and we are now happily staying at home. in lockdown for week number 4. We have been in lockdown for 3 weeks already, in isolation actually, and now it's another week, another 10 days that we need to stay here. And I didn't know if to laugh or cry. I started laughing when I heard the news because I was really trying all my power to keep them away from other kids that I know that have corona. And I told them the last week, I told them, don't go to any friends, don't go to the pool. We went to the grandparents, to my mother-in-law and my father-in-law, and I left them there for 5 days because I told them I don't want you to go any near other kids here in Tel El where I live, because a lot of kids here now are sick. So you'll be at your grandparents' house, so you will not get infected, and we will be able to go to vacation. And then what happened was that they got infected from someone there. And now we are here in lockdown again, not going to our holiday. And you see me smiling, but it was really confusing at the moment when I heard that. I started laughing because I said, okay, I really wanted to go to that holiday, but what really happening now is when they will have they are now positive. So after 10 days, they will get a certificate that say that they've been sick, and they are now have the green. How do you say that? Okay, I don't know the word for that. The green certificate. Okay, here in Israel, I don't know if it's also in the entire world. It's called that way, and they will not go into isolation again. We will not have that again because they already been sick and they now have the vaccine in their own body, which is a good thing because their own body have it in them. So I feel. Anna, you're writing to me in Hebrew. Write to me how it says in English. How to say it in English. So what I felt at the moment, that all of a sudden I felt that I'm actually blessed. I'm actually blessed that they are now sick and they're feeling well. Okay, they have it, but they're feeling quite okay. Okay, they're a bit weak, their head a bit ache, but they're feeling okay. And we're going to have 10 days of it, and then it will be over. And then we will not have the lockdown again. We will not have the isolation again that we have been in for already 4 weeks. And it's been difficult, especially for little kids. My kids are small. And I feel that I'm blessed with that because Elat will wait for us. There is a lot of holidays waiting for us to come, and we will be able to go there because we will be over with that old thing that we have experienced in the last month. So when I felt that roller coaster of emotions, on one hand I felt disappointed and I'm not going, and then on the other hand I could see the benefits of it. I could see the freedom waiting for me around the corner, and all of a sudden I understood that the message on Sunday, she started to tell us, look at the situation from both sides. And it's actually what I've been experiencing today. And there's also the part that she said that we need to remember that she gave us also a process of how to heal our body. I have the process in Hebrew. If you want, I can translate it to English. Just tell me if you want. So it will take me a day or two to do that. She gave me a whole process of how to clean my body, our bodies, from sickness and from fear as well, from being afraid from receiving the corona and being afraid of being sick. And to people that have been already carrying the disease and they are now in the disease, they are now experiencing it. She gave us a whole process with 3 levels how to clean our body from that. So I immediately, when I received the information for it on Sunday, I just started doing it. I started preparing it, and I prepared it. I finished preparing it on Sunday evening. This is the only thing I did all day long. And then suddenly my kids need it. So I feel that it's like someone already gave me the medicine, and she told me, here, this is what you're going to need. And I said, okay, thank you. I don't know why I need it. And then now I understand when she gave it to me. And it's not just for me, it's for everyone. But it's amazing how simple it is and that we have all the tools here around us. So this is one thing that I'm really excited about. But there is two more things that they want us to talk about, and I have to say, please share if you have anyone you think that can enjoy this information. Just write their names here. You can tag them, you can send them and say, hey, join us because we have important things to talk about. So this is the first level of what we are experiencing now. Oh, I see more people joining us. Hello, Selena. I will share with you the process. I will prepare it tomorrow. I'll write for myself. I need to write it, that I will prepare it for you for tomorrow, and hopefully it will be ready until Thursday. And I see her, Steph. Hello, Steph. I think it's the first time I see you here. Okay. Okay, so the second thing that we need to remember is that we are experiencing the world from our perspective. And our perspective is very, very narrow. We cannot see the big picture. We can't see the big picture even if we want to. Only when we meditate, we can relate to the big picture. We can sometimes see it, but then when we come back into this body, our mind is still see it as narrow, and we don't see the big picture. We forget the big picture because we don't know how to contain it. We don't know how to refer to it. We don't know how to express it. Okay, so we can experience it when we meditate, but then when we come back into our body, something changes and we see the small picture. We can try to express it, we can try to explain it, but we have only limiting words for it, and we have only limiting perspective to see the whole picture, and we cannot see the whole picture. And they say that when we experience a situation, we experience from one side, and it's difficult for us to remember that it's only everything happens for our highest benefit. And we don't really remember that at that moment. And sometimes we are afraid from what we are experiencing, and we are forgetting that there is another side to that situation, another side to that coin that is working for our highest benefit. So what they say is, when we have a situation that we feel that it's difficult, that we are afraid from, they ask us to just tell ourselves that we know, we have faith that this thing work for our highest benefit. And then what happen is that our perspective will change, and we will be able to look at it from the other side and understand how it benefits for us. So the first thing is, I have a situation, I don't know, I'm feeling difficult with this situation, I don't know how to relate to it and to find the positive part of it. I'm saying to myself, I'm telling myself, I'm reminding myself that this situation, I'm sure, 100% sure, is working for my highest benefit, and it is good for me, and it is helping me progress and raise my energy, even though I don't remember, I don't understand now, but I'm reminding myself that my perspective is limiting, and this is why I cannot understand it at the moment. But I do trust the universe, I do trust the creation energy, that this is working for my highest benefit. And they say that when we say it to ourselves, it will help us change the perspective, and really fast we will start to understand and see why is this situation good for us, and we'll start feeling it as well in our body. So this is a way for us to use it, to use that process which we need to learn how to do. This is one of the tools that we can use in order to understand how to use it. Now, another thing that they want us to know is, now at that time, we are all experiencing fear. And they kept telling us that we need to choose our decisions. We need to decide, we need to choose from a point of view of unconditional love for myself. Some people say that we are choosing we're choosing ourselves over them, but we know that we need to decide things only with things that we feel complete with, we feel whole with our decisions, and we feel in peace with what I decide. Why? Because there's two things there. First of all, if I decide something that I'm afraid of, if I will take a decision, and it doesn't matter in which subject at the moment, if I make a decision to do something that I'm scared to do, what happened is that my body is actually getting weaker. Okay, if you know kinesiology, I don't know if I'm saying it properly in English, but there's a test, muscle test. Okay, so muscle test mean that when we are lying, our muscle is weaker. So because the muscle is getting weak, we know that we are lying, and this is the muscle test. So this based on the same thing. When we are afraid of something, our body, our muscle is weak, and we want to decide things that we know that is really making us feel unconditional love to ourselves, because then our immune system is strong, our body is strong, and everything that we decide is supporting our progress. Okay, now obviously I'm not talking about deciding something that is good for me and I'm not going to harm another person, but I'm going to decide something that is good for me and I'm not harming anyone else. Okay, I'm not doing anything bad to anyone else. Okay, it's I know you know that, but I'm saying it anyway. So when I want to decide something, I want to check with myself, am I deciding that thing? Am I choosing that because I feel unconditional love or because I'm afraid of something? Now, I'm telling you this because now in Israel, there's a real issue about all the vaccine, and they're trying to force people to vaccinate, and a lot of people are afraid. And I'm not saying if we should or shouldn't. I think every person have to decide by himself. And this is actually also been what the angels told us. If you want to do it, you need to fall in love with the vaccine. If you don't want to do it, then find in yourself the peace and the love for that decision. So whatever you decide, you need to find the peace and love inside of you to your decision, and you need to make yourself really believe that that decision is the best for you, and that what you will experience. And at that time now, I'm pretty sure that where you're living as well, there's a lot of fear. A lot of people are afraid. The people that want to vaccine, that already had that vaccination, are afraid from the people that haven't, because they're afraid that they will get sick. And people that haven't got vaccinated are afraid that the other people will force it on them. So there's some people are afraid of getting sick, and the other people are afraid from the side effects of the vaccination. So there's a lot of fear in both sides, and we are trying to convince one another why we are right, and what the angels are telling us about what we need to do in order to help ourselves come into the unity process that we are now in, and the lesson of unity that we are now in. We need to remember that trying to explain another person why he should be afraid actually make him put walls and feel that he need to protect himself, and he's not listening when he's putting those walls because he's afraid. So if I'm telling someone you need to do what I'm telling you to do because otherwise you will be sick, or you will be I don't know, you'll have a tail or something like that, I'm trying to make him feel afraid. Actually what I'm doing is I'm making him feel that he needs to protect himself, and then he put his boundaries and his walls, not listening to me anymore. So what I've been asking the angels the last I think 3 or 4 weeks, I've been asking them, so how can we talk to people? Because I feel that there's no room for us to say what we feel. And they said to me, you're not trying to tell them what you feel, you're trying to tell them what they should feel. And then I said, okay, so I need to understand that a little bit more. And then a few things happened in the last few weeks that actually helped me understand what they want me to do. And then I think yesterday, finally in the evening, I finally got it. I finally understood what they wanted me to say. And hopefully it will help. So I'll tell you what happened. So the few things happened. The first thing that happened was that I went to my doctor and I told him that I want to have a serologic test. And he asked me why, and I told him why. And then he said to me, okay, fine. So I did the test, and I already had apparently COVID-19 sometime in the last 6 months. I don't know exactly when. They're not going to give me a healing certificate from some reason, doesn't matter at the moment. And I came to him and I told him that they're not going to give me the certificate. What can I do? And he said, well, why won't you just vaccinate? And I said, I don't want to. I don't want to. And then he started to tell me why I should. And then I said to him, listen, you can explain to me as much as you want, but I am afraid of the vaccine because I want to get pregnant. I want more kids, and I don't know how it will affect the baby that I will have in the future. I don't have at the moment, but I will have in the future. And he stopped. After 10 minutes of trying to convince me, he stopped and he said, if you're afraid, don't do it. He stopped trying to convince me. And I said, thank you. Thank you for not pushing. And he said, well, I now understand that you're afraid. You shouldn't decide because you're afraid. And then I went back home. And my husband already been vaccinated. And I asked him, why did you do the vaccine? And he said to me, because I'm afraid of being sick. I'm afraid that if I'll be sick, I don't know how my body will react. I'm afraid that if I'll be sick, I'll be fired from my work because you already been fired in the beginning of the virus in a year and a half ago, when everything started and he couldn't find a job for a long time. And he said to me, I'm afraid of the consequences. I don't know what they will be. And I told him, okay, so do you know why I'm not getting the vaccine? He said, yes, I know, because you're afraid of what might happen if you will get it and you'll get pregnant, or you might not be able to get pregnant. So I told him, that's why you're not pushing me to do it. And he said, yes, I don't want you to decide because you're afraid. And I said, okay, I didn't know that. First of all, I didn't know that you know it. And I told him, I didn't know that you are so afraid of it. So why didn't you tell me that you're doing it because you're afraid? He said, well, it was my decision about my body, and you didn't say anything. You told me to decide what to feel good for me, and that's what felt good for me. And then I understood that also when we talked about it, we talked not about what I think you need to think. I told him what I feel. I told him what I'm afraid of, and he was able to listen. I didn't tell him what he should be afraid of. And also what happened with the doctor. When I told him what I'm afraid of, he stopped. He told me, okay, I wasn't trying to convince him that he should be afraid that I'm right and he might experience something. I was just trying to tell him, this is what I'm afraid of. So please respect my fear, that I have that fear in me. And when I told him that, he said, okay. And that's exactly what happened with my husband. Now, I want to tell you another thing that happened to me, and it was a really difficult situation. I'm not going to tell you the whole story. I'll tell it shortly because I think the main thing here is how it's related. And on Thursday, I went to do the serological test, and I had for me and for my kids. And my girl Naama, she's in the middle. She's 7 years old. I have 3 kids. I have Teila, she's 10. Naama, she's 7, and Eli is 4. He's 4. So Naama didn't want to do the test, and normally she's not doing any problems with those kind of things. She had to do a blood test, and normally she doesn't care. She's fine. She does things, and she's not afraid of anything. And all of a sudden, she decided she don't want to do it, and she was shouting and screaming and pushing me and kicking me and everything. And I was really surprised. And I told you before that I was really afraid that something will happen to my vacation, that I will not be able to go to that vacation because the last 4 weeks we've been in isolation. So I was afraid that something will happen and we'll not be able to go to our vacation. And I told her that she have to do that test now, and she have to do it because we might get a result that she already have it, and then we can go. And I tried to convince her, and she didn't listen to me, and she kept kicking me. And then the nurse said, okay, you hold her, I will hold her hand, and we'll do the test. And because I was really afraid that someone will take my freedom away, like I felt that had been happening the last 4 weeks, I held her. She was sitting on my lap. I held her, and the nurse held her hand, and another nurse did her the blood test. And when I was holding her, She screamed, "Leave me alone. Why are you doing it to me?" And all of a sudden, I realized that I'm hurting my child because I'm afraid. I'm hurting my child because of my fear. My fear that my freedom will take from me. My fear that I will be again in isolation. My fear that I will not know how to deal with another day, another week, like what already happened. And I was actually hurting her and not listening to what she was afraid of. And I felt really bad. I told them, stop, stop. And they said, no, we can't stop now because it's already in her vessel. So we need to take the blood out. And they did. And I felt really bad. I started crying and I didn't know what to do. The nurse didn't understand what was going on with me. And then my daughter looked at me and she said to me, Mom, why are you crying? And I told her, I don't believe that I just forced you to do something because I was afraid I forced you to do something that's against your will. And she tried to comfort me and she said, no, Mom, it's okay. It's okay. And I told her, no, it's not okay. I shouldn't have done it. And then I went home and it really bothered me. I couldn't go on with my day. And I talked to my sister and I told her everything that happened. And that what I understood is that I was so afraid that I couldn't listen to what she needed from me because I was so afraid that my freedom will be taken from me. And even though I'm talking to angels and I do meditation and I have all those tools, I still decided this decision that I think now, after experiencing what I've experienced, that it was a wrong decision. And I came back home, I talked to my sister, and my sister told me, what do you want? What do you want to tell her? I told her I have to talk to her. And she said, what do you want to tell her? And I said, it's not what I want to tell her, it's that I want to listen to her. Because what I didn't do in the situation that we've been in is that I didn't listen. I just decided what is good for her, what is good for me, what I needed. I just told her, do what I need you to do because I need that. And I didn't listen to what she needed. And that's what I did. I called her and I told her, first of all, I told her that I'm sorry. And I tried not to cry because what I felt is that if I would cry and she would start comforting me, she will not be there. I will not be there for her. Okay. And I know that what I'm going to say, it sounds too harsh, but it's the truth. When someone is having a trauma and it can really affect him for the rest of his life about the decisions that he will make. And what my daughter experienced was something traumatic at that point, and I was the person that actually making it go through that trauma. And at the end of it, when I cried, she was comforting me. And this is something that I really didn't want to happen because people that are going through violence in relationship, it's something that happened that the person is actually treating them badly and then he apologized or cried and they are the one that comforting him. So immediately all my sensors were open and I said, oh my God, this is not something that I want my daughter to do. No, this is not something that I want to teach her to do. So I know that if someone is experiencing trauma and in about 24 hours we have we talk about the trauma and we process it, we can really change the decisions that are made and all the habits that they might have from that trauma. So it was important to me to talk to her about it. So I called her and I told her, first of all, I want to apologize that I cried and you shouldn't have comforted me. I should have listened to you. And I told her, I want to understand what you experienced. I want to understand what you were feeling. And I really wanted to know also, why was she so afraid of it? Because I know my daughter, I know she never reacts like that. And she said to me, I don't know why, but I remember that blood test hurts. And she said, I remember that someone I did a blood test in my hand here, and I remember that it hurts. Now, when she was a little bit, I think about 10 months, not even a year old, she had a blood test and she was stabbed a lot because they couldn't find her vessel, and then they did it here and she was crying a lot. Now, I don't know why, but she remembered it. She said, I don't remember doing a blood test, but I remember that it hurts here. That's what she said. And that's the reason that she was so against, that she was so afraid. And I told her a few things. First of all, I told her that I should have listened. I told her that moms make mistakes. And I told her that I'm sorry. I'm sorry that I didn't listen to her. And I'm sorry that I let my fear overcome her needs. And I told her also that it might happen again. And then she had to remind me that situation, that I will not do that again. And I told her that we need to find a way to help her be calm, because she will need to do more blood tests in the future in her life. And we talked about what she felt, and we were really open. Then she said to me, I understand, and I don't feel angry anymore. And I feel now that we have talked, I feel now that I can let it go. And I think it was an important thing. And the reason I'm telling you that, because I was so afraid, I was actually putting my fear on her. And I told her, you need to solve my fear. You need to give me a solution. I'm trying to hold it so strongly because I'm so afraid. And I really want you to solve my fear, to help me solve my fear. Yes, I was asking that from a 7 years old. I'm the mother here, yes. But that's what we all do now. That's the situation we are in now. We're talking to our spouse and we're telling him what we are afraid of, and we are asking that person to do something that will help us overcome our fear. If only he will do what I need him to do, everything will be okay. But that's not the way it is. When we are in that situation now, and this lesson of unity, what we need to learn is to respect other people's fear, to help them pronounce that, to give it expression, and to express our fear as well. And to be able to express it in a way that we are not trying to convince the other person to give us any solution to it. It's just to express it so that we can listen to one another. And this is something that I realized only this last few days by experiencing on me. That's why I'm sharing it with you. And when she said to me, don't try to make the other person feel what you're feeling, okay? Don't try to make him be afraid so that he will do what you need him to do. Just tell him your fear. Don't ask for anything from that person, and listen to his fear. Respect that he's afraid as well. Wow. So this is what we need to learn how to do. Let's see what you've been writing to me. Wise man, Cheryl, thank you. I think you're talking about the doctor, probably. Positive consequences. Consciousness helps. Positive consciousness. Yes, please. I said the same thing to the doctor and gave me a referral. Thank you, Anna. Thank you. Teen, I feel with you. Thank you for this open sharing. Thank you, Teen. It's not something that's easy for me, but I understand that it's something that we're all experiencing. We're all experiencing um, deciding things because we are afraid. We are all experiencing maybe even bad decisions, deciding things that we might even feel regret about, like I felt. But I understand that there is a process here, that I've learned something that is very important, and also helped my daughter learn something eventually in a hard way, for unfortunately. I help her understand that she needs someone in her life that respect her fear and not trying to tell her that she cannot be afraid. Okay, Cheryl, this is an amazing insight. Rakefet, you are an amazing mother. Thank you, Cheryl. Thank you so much. And Anna is saying that my angels are smart. So thank you, Anna, but they're not my angels. They are the angels, everyone angels. I'm just sharing what they say. And thank you, Anna. Thank you, Anna. She said she got courage from me to get tested. So, okay, so this is the angels news for today. I'm just gonna say it quickly, the important things. First of all, remember that all situations have both sides, and we want to look at both sides. And in order to do it, we are telling ourselves, we're reminding ourselves that it's always working for our highest benefit, even if we don't understand it at the moment. That's the first thing. The second thing is not to judge other people's fear, and to remember that we see only a small picture. We cannot see the entire big picture. We remember that it's working for our highest benefit, but we cannot really see the big picture because it's really over. It's not. We don't have that ability yet. We have limitation in our bodies yet. Um, and the most important thing is to remember not to try make another person feel afraid because we want him to decide what I need him to decide, but to share our fear and to help him share his fear and really listen, and even help him, to hug him, and not to give any solutions, because the solutions that we have is the solutions that we know that is good for us, and they might not be right for that person, but to help him find a solution that is right for him, because he's choosing from unconditional love for himself and not from fear. And even if that person will decide the completely opposite from what I think is right for him, I will I will be happy for him for deciding a decision that is based on unconditional love. So thank you so much for being here with me, and please share this information. And next week we will have the weekly message on Sunday too, and the angels news. I was about to tell you I'm going to a holiday, so we will not have it, but then I remembered that we will have it because I'm not going to the holiday just yet. The holiday is waiting for me. I'll be there on the right time. So thank you, love you. Please share and have a great week. Bye.